good morning, morning. Happy New Year. Good to see all you beautiful faces on the call this morning. What's happening, Cleveland? Is Cleveland in the house? Is that who I see? What's up, Cleveland? How you doing? And then I see, obviously, Michigan in the house. I see South America. I see Ecuador in the house. So good to see you guys. We good there in the back of the office and get things rocking. Welcome to Klear Channel. First things first, it's a new year, so a new request. Cell phone, pull it out. Go to YouTube. I see a few people in the office here that are new faces. Jake, can you police this for me? Jake the Snake, tell them to pull out their cell phones. Type in YouTube. I don't see everybody moving. Pull out YouTube. Type in YouTube. Type in Klear, Cleveland. I see you guys. I don't see anybody moving over there either. So now we're grabbing our phones. We know you got a Klear Channel. You got a YouTube. Type in Klear channel, and please subscribe. We're just at about 500 subscribers. Our goal is to get to 5,000 this year, and really build this channel and share all the good news. So I'm going to pin my screen and we're going to get things rocking. So in the new year, happy new year 2021. 2021 is over. 2022 is here, and we're going to rock and roll. So I want to share with you guys a few things that I learned in 2021. And I think some of you guys may have learned these things too. And I'm going to go through a little bit about team stuff and leadership. And hopefully this will make a big impact on you. If you have a friend or a family member you want to share this channel with, you know, the whole goal is to help change the world one leader at a time, and share the good news. So a couple of things that I learned in 2021, you may have learned this too. One of the things I learned in 2021 is that the outside world won't affect my inner world unless I let it. The outside world doesn't affect my inner world unless I let it affect my world. You know, so many things that are going on now in the world, in the economy, in the health sector. You know, some people are, dropping like flies as far as not being healthy. And listen, that I have a lot of empathy towards the situation. I would just share with you guys, I would focus on things you can control when it comes to your health. I would ask myself, what do I eat? What kind of nutrition do I have? What type of healthy habits do I have? Do I take care of my mental health? Do I take care of my physical health? Do I take care of, my nutrients? Or am I waking up every day and drinking coffee to get me out of bed and get me moving and addicted to caffeine? I don't know. So again, I would ask myself that, does the outside world affect your inner world? And I can tell you, for those of you that are learning and growing, you're starting to learn that it does not affect your inner world. You choose how you live your life. The second thing I learned is that the more that I'm spending time learning, I'm watching videos on, again, on YouTube, like our channel here, or I'm listening to audiobooks, or I'm reading, the more fulfilled I am, the more energetic I am, the more I can give and I can serve and I can help other people. And I think you guys feel the same too. There's a lot of people I know I'm working with and I'm coaching across the country that when they are filling themselves up, they are pouring things into their own cup as far as knowledge and information and getting around amazing people, the better they feel. I was on a call this morning, Yannick. I know you're a friend with Grant Cardone. I was on a call this morning with Grant and Barb Majeski and a few others, by the way. Yeah, she texted me.
Congrats.
Hey, she's like, hey, why don't you join me on this little clubhouse thing I do with some people. So some incredible CEOs across the country do a little something Friday morning, and I just popped in and was listening to their chatter. But it was pretty cool. By the way, she responded to me. She wants me to go to that 10X experience in Miami.
Let's go.
So we'll talk about that later.
Let's go.
But so the more you're learning, the more you're improving yourself, and no coincidence. When you feel good, you eat well, and your mind eats well, you're obviously going to be able to give a lot, and you're going to feel amazing. Something else I learned, and is people are predictable. I learned that people are predictable. The more you deal with people, the more you're going to start learning, and you're going to see trends. There's just it's interesting, right? So And human behavior, everyone chooses kind of what they want. They choose the type of life that they want to go after. And I can say this, life is hard, but you choose your hard, right? So being broke is hard. Working your ass off and building yourself out of being broke is also hard. But you choose what hard you want to do, right? Some people choose to not work and not to whatever and expect the government to take care of them and whatever. Hey, to each his own, right? I'm not picking on it. But I would encourage you to choose the path that's going to help you reach what you want to reach, accomplish what you want to accomplish. And also I'd be careful, getting around people. There's so many people in the world that blame their lack of success on things outside of themselves. And every morning I'm at the gym, and so crazy. I see my friend Sean. I saw him again this morning. I'm in the corner. I made a commitment this year. So my friends here in the office, Gabriel, would be happy to know I made a commitment to lift legs more often. And I am hating it. I am hating it. And I'm over there and I'm doing my squats or whatever, and my lifts I'm doing this morning. My buddy Sean walks over and he goes, you working today, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And this is a guy who's in the NFL. He refs in the NFL. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, how's your trip this past weekend to Buffalo? How was the game? And he's like, man, it was cold. And I was like, where are you at this week? And he's like, oh, I'm in Arizona. I'm taking my son to see Arizona State, but I'm taking care of the game on Sunday in Arizona. And I was like, man, but I think a guy like that, that's the elite of what he does in refereeing in the NFL. And he's in the gym every single day. Again, he chooses his hard too. And his hard translates to being at the top of his craft when it comes to reffing and physical shape and things. And ultimately, it helps him be a great dad, which I know he's super passionate about that. Some other things I would say that I learned in 2021. My wife cuts good hair. So yeah, I don't need to go to the barber anymore if I really want to. I can stay home and my wife does a nice trim. And I kind of knew this during COVID when it all shut down, but I realized this past year that I don't know, I spent $40 a haircut or something, the place I used to go to. I don't need to do that anymore. All right, other things I learned is that I need true partnerships. And a partnership is 50-50. It's not 75-25. It's not 25-75. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to show up. I'm going to bring everything into a relationship. If someone else isn't doing their part, it's hard for me to help and it's hard for me to be in that relationship. So I'll give an example. In our office, in my business, I'm trying to teach people about tardiness. I'm trying to teach our leadership team about tardiness and their team. And so, I had a conversation earlier today about, hey, listen, I'm letting things go a little bit when it comes to the disciplines of tardiness, the disciplines of showing up and working hard and results, to essentially empower my leadership team to then run their teams and make those tough calls and make those tough decisions. So I already know what happens when people aren't disciplined and people don't expect greatness from each other. I already know that performance lacks. I already know that that teams will squander. They won't continue the momentum they have, and they won't have the respect internally that's needed to build and to grow. But I already know those things. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm letting it go a little bit to show my guys that, hey, you got to step in and say, no, this is not how I want to run my team. This is not how I want to operate. And sure, run it by me and when the conversation you want to have or whatever. But in my day-to-day, 3 strikes, you're out. Right? We start at 10 o'clock. If you're late once, hey, no big deal. I'm going to have a conversation. You're late a second time, I'm going to send you home. You're late a third time, we terminate employment. It's really cut and dry. Unless there's an outside world circumstance, like if it snows, okay, cool, I'm reasonable. Traffic is a little bit tricky on a day like that. Okay, I get it. But at some point, you got to call a shoe a shoe. And so people have to learn that. But in my world, 50-50. You got to show up 50%. And then, I'm going to bring my 50%. Other things that I learned is that when you give to the world and you give because you're being selfless and you give because it's the right thing to do, you're going to get the universe will turn around and give you back tenfold, and give you so many blessings, bring so many people into your world, so many great people that can help you grow and help you get ahead. And listen, oftentimes you'll give and you'll get nothing in return immediately. It won't even happen, short term, whatever. It'll happen months or years later. But I've learned that giving is a great way to live, and it's just brings a lot of happiness. All right, other things I learned, and I'm going to jump into some team building things. I learned that movie nights with my boys are pretty awesome, and that they love scoring goals. And the ability that I had this past year to take them places and take Brady to a World Cup qualifier and sit on the sidelines, like literally next to the players when he gave his favorite player, Serginho Dest, on the U.S. national team, a guy who plays at Barcelona. My son gave him a high five after he scored an incredible goal. Like, that experience, like I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I'll tell you, I think those little moments last year reminded me on how and why, when I was in my 20s, how and why I hustled so hard, and why I wanted to build my future, why I wanted to have control of my life, why I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And because I always want to, and I dreamed of giving my boys experiences that, I didn't really have growing up. I didn't really have a chance. I mean, if I went to a soccer game, I didn't sit on the sidelines. I sat in the rafters, it was like the top of the top, because we didn't do things like that. All right. And the last thing I learned is that people are succeeding in the world that you're making excuses about. So when I see that in business, my friend Justin runs an office in Philadelphia in our business. 1.8 million in business he did last year. 1.8 million. I know my office just did under 1 million last year. And in the world of we're doing, and there's a lot of people that didn't. And listen, I know I made certain choices. I do things a certain way, and I run at a certain speed, and I have certain levels of standards, etc. I expect a lot from the people that I work with, and I think they know in return they're going to get a lot. And I push people and I challenge people, and I want the best for people. But again, it's that certain level of expectation that they bring to the table. It's 50-50. But I know this for a fact, that when somebody proves themselves and they prove their value, once they're in my kind of inner circle of performance, and I see someone like Tanya in the call today who's done that year over year, and our relationship's been going on for a long time, I know I have their back 1000%, and I go out of my way to help them reach their dreams and their goals, because I know that they deserve that. They deserve people to support them. All right. And then the last thing I'll leave you guys with, the things I learned, is in the world pandemic 2 years ago, we created a lot of opportunity. In 2021, we started to capitalize on that opportunity. In 2020, the world shut down. We all these things. We decided to stay the course in this EDM program we're on, and some of these retailers. And then we landed the Target thing. We're starting to grow. I know I got a list of stores literally this week in the first quarter of Target. We already got the Kroger deal going. We're talking to them about getting more stores now, and this first quarter is going to have a lot of opportunity to expand. And so, I'm really excited that, hey, we kind of took some risky moves 2 years ago. Last year, we're starting to push, and this year, in my opinion, is a year of promotions, and really for the guys that are helping to build this thing, and now you're going to get a chance to run offices. And that's where that gets really fun, because instead of them competing day to day in the office and talking smack about, oh, my team here, they're like, my company here, my company there. Keep up with me. Why I made $8,000 last week, you made 800. What's wrong with you? Like stuff like that. So it's gonna get a lot of fun. All right, so transition a little bit. What I'm talking about is a little bit of team building stuff. So I got a chance to see some videos. Some of you guys are watching college football right now. I know college football playoffs is always fun. Unfortunately, not so fun for the Big Ten, because we got our asses handed to us. Although they did their best and everything. They didn't play. Michigan didn't pull it out like I wanted them to, because it was Big Ten. I was rooting for them. That's probably why they didn't do so well. But Alabama. I want to talk a little bit about football. Alabama. And listen, I'm not a Bama fan. but I respect their organization. Alabama's team, this is what there's 5 things that Alabama, when a recruit comes in, that they stand for, and they talk about in the recruiting process. They talk about in their, when they practice daily. I saw this video last night about their facilities. It was like an $88 million or $66 million football facility they just built for their college players. I mean, they had cold pools, hot pools. They had floating beds. They had a bunch of, crazy stuff to get their football players ready mentally, physically, and all these things. But there's 5 things they talk about when they bring people in. Number 1, they talk about commitment. It's one of their 5 core values as a football team. And, I've learned that commitment, there's 4 levels of commitment. One level is, I should probably do something about this. It's like, I probably should do this to help me grow in my career. I probably should do more to get in my health. I probably should. The second level is I want to do that. Yeah, and not that I should. Now I want to. I want to get healthier. I want to get better in business. I want to do more sales. I want to grow, and etc. And then the third one is it goes from want to need. I need to. Hey, you know what? I need to get healthier. I need to get better. I need to improve. I need to, get this skill. And then the fourth one is the one that really is the one that determines whether or not you're going to do something. And it's I will, and I have to. And when I will and I have to happens, and you get to that level of commitment on something, you're all in. So I'll give an example. My wife, it was 12 degrees outside this morning at 6:15 in the morning. My wife got up at 5:45 like she normally does. She got her gear on. She wears these little spikes on the bottom of her sneakers because it's snowing outside and there's some snow on the ground and ice. And she went for a 5-mile run before the sun came up. 12 degrees outside. That's not I should go for a run. It's not I want to go for a run or I need to go for a run. It's I have to. I will go for a run. And she does it because she needs it for her mind. She needs it to feel amazing about attacking her day and her position, right? It's I have to. And again, when it gets to that level of commitment, there's nothing that's going to stop you for whatever you want to accomplish, whether it's physically, emotionally, career-wise, whatever. But I would think about your commitment. I've learned that when people are committed and they have to do things, there's no stopping them. There is no stopping them. The second thing that Alabama is known for is they talk about in the recruiting process is discipline. They talk about disciplined habits, and they talk about disciplined people. Alabama football doesn't want to recruit people that are going to cause problems off the field. And frankly, they have so many so many athletes that they can choose from. All of them are 5-star, recruits. If somebody causes problems, they're out and they bring in the next 5-star recruit. But they really talk about the discipline needed to be a college athlete, the discipline needed to be a successful human being. Because they know, and it's interesting because in their facilities, they have pictures and these memoirs of their previous players that have kind of graduated their program and gone on to the NFL, and they have all these things about it. And they know that what's at stake, right? And again, it's very similar to the business that I'm in. People know the discipline that's needed because when they get a chance to run an office and run their own business, then there's this certain level of expectation of performance. We expect people to do really, really well and run great businesses. But discipline is huge. And I would ask myself, how strong is my discipline? Are my habits disciplined on a daily basis? Are they helping me move towards my goals? Or is my discipline really the problem that's keeping me from doing better and getting great at the role I'm in? But I would think about discipline. Number 3 is effort. The amount of effort that people put in, and they talk a lot in the Alabama system about the effort needed to be the best football team in the country. And literally, and they talk in practice and about practice being just like the games and on Saturdays, and that effort when they show up. And listen, I know this from college sports. When you play in a top 20 team, When it comes to effort, frankly, if you take your foot off the gas, if you don't, show up for practice one day and someone else is playing harder and they put a lot more effort in, you get yanked in practice, you don't play for 3 or 4 games. At least that's how it was when I played soccer in college. And I can only imagine what it's like at Alabama with so many talented people. But you got to show up every day and you got to bring your A game every single day and bring that effort. Number 4 they talk about is toughness. Toughness. Because things happen and they talk about being mentally tough, physically tough, and attacking each play with everything you got. And so being tough is obviously important in the game of business and not just in the game of football. And then last thing they talk about is pride. And having pride in who you are, what you stand for, the team that you're a part of. They have so much pride when it comes to Alabama football that literally the lights in their locker room change to the red, to the crimson red, to get them ready for game day. It's crazy. They have all these different lights and whatever. And they have so much pride when it comes to that football team. And listen, again, I respect it. I'm not a fan of them. I respect the things they've accomplished. They have on one of their walls all their national championships, and they have a ton of them. I know they had 3 in the last 6 years, and who knows, they may get another one in a week or so because they got a big game coming up on Monday. But having pride in who you work with, the team that you're on, the organization you're a part of, will ultimately help you raise the bar in your performance. So my question for you guys is, what are the 3 or 4 things that your team stands for? What are the 3 or 4 things that you want your team to be surrounded by? What are the 3 or 4 things that you are bringing up on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to ultimately help you guys grow your situation? So I would ask myself that again, as leaders and future business people, what do I want to be known for? All right. I want to share with you guys a couple of fun quotes I found, a couple of fun quotes for the new year. A quote that I found, it said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. If opportunity doesn't knock, just build the door and then you can knock on it. All right, another one. Your minds are like parachutes. The only way they function is when they are open. Think about it. Your mind is like a parachute. The only time they function is when they're open. So the thought there is to be open-minded, to be coachable, to be in a position where you can, improve. Another one I put down is, I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. Another one I thought was very interesting. I again wrote down is, if you aim at nothing, you will hit every time. If you aim at nothing, you're going to hit every time. And that just goes with like the idea of being average. There's more average people in the world than above average. And one of the scariest things to do is to shoot to be average and you hit. Because average at the age of 65, I think the statistics say it means that you're more broke than you were at 18. You actually are worth less money than you were at the age of 18 in the world of the USA. All right, and then the last thing I'll leave you guys with is 1026, and hopefully you get things rocking. 2022 is gonna be a big year for everyone. Is success is never owned. It is rented, and it is due every single day. So getting out, attacking your goals, shooting for the moon, landing the stars, you got to fight, you got to work, you got to get after it. And I'll tell you, in the world of business, and even in sports, and you see it all the time, listen, and again, I'm not an Antonio Brown fan, but I saw this morning a little bit, he was pissed off because he wasn't getting the football thrown his way. And he decided to take off his pads and walk off the field. He's now saying he was injured and coaches are trying to force him to play. Who knows what really happened? But an interesting thing came out that he had some incentives that he needed to get, and he needed to catch the ball a few more times before the end of the season. And it would have helped him make an extra $2 million this year. And the fact that he wasn't getting the ball was affecting his incentives. He asked them to get paid a salary instead because he wanted to hit the $2 million bonus. And they said, no, your contract is what it is. And you have to get after it. And, listen, again, success is never owned, it's rented. And Antonio Brown found out what happens when you mess with the wrong coach, I guess. But keep that in mind. Get after it. Have an amazing year this year. 2022 is gonna be huge for a lot of you guys. Thank you for your time today. Please share the Klear Channel with friends, family, whoever. We're looking forward to expand the good news, the positive vibes, and have an amazing year. Thanks so much for your time today. Talk to you guys soon.